Thank you for joining this short webinar showing you how to identify specific document and reference codes when making an import declaration using the Customs Declaration Service. This is step 7 of a series of short webinars taking you through the Customs Declaration Service guidance on completing an import declaration. This table sets out the step-by-step guides we'll be covering in this series. We will be showing you screenshots from gov.uk. HMRC is constantly improving the digital experience of our customers, so you may find that some of these screenshots will be slightly different to those that you'll see on gov.uk. This webinar series follows Hallie, who is importing children's t-shirts into Great Britain from the USA. She has her own software product, which means she can submit her own declarations via the Customs Declaration Service. Her t-shirts will be entering free circulation in Great Britain. Please remember to follow the 10 steps in the navigation guide in order, otherwise your declaration will fail validation. Hallie needs to ensure that she is on the Navigate the CDS Declaration Instructions for Imports page, previously referred to as Navigate the UK Trade Tariff CDS Volume 3 for Imports. If Hallie scrolls down, she will see the 10 steps she needs to follow. Step 7 relates to specific document and reference codes. Specific document and reference codes are used to identify any specific documents, licenses, certificates or authorizations that need to be declared to place the goods to their intended use or enter them to the customs territory of the UK or the EU depending on the circumstances. Hallie will need to enter any specific document and reference code required into data element 2.3 of her declaration. She will need to access Appendix 5 and the UK Integrated Online Tariff in order to identify specific document and reference codes. Hallie starts by looking at step 7 of the navigation guide and selects the link. If she scrolls down, she'll see that similar to the additional information statement codes, Hallie will have to return to her commodity code, procedure code, and additional procedure code as they provide guidance on the document codes expected or required to be used for her declaration. Hallie returns to the UK Integrated Online Tariff and accesses her commodity code. She scrolls down and selects the United States from the drop-down menu. Here, Hallie needs to read any additional information that may affect her specific document and reference codes. She can do this by selecting the conditions hyperlink under each section. She selects a hyperlink and is brought to the document code guidance. If this information was relevant to Hallie's scenario, she would need to use this document code. As this is not relevant, she will not use code C990. Next, Hallie revisits Appendices 1 and 2 to access her procedure codes and additional procedure codes. Anything in Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 takes precedence over Appendix 5. Hallie returns to Appendix 1 and searches for procedure code 4000. She scrolls down to the Documents Produced, Certificates and Authorizations Additional References section. She must read this and see if there are any specific document codes that must be declared. As Hallie is using deferred payment, she can see that codes C505 and 506 must be declared in data element 2.3 for her declaration. Appendix 1 may contain specific guidance concerning the information to be declared in data element 2.3. For example, code C505. If Hallie doesn't require a guarantee, then she will need to consult Appendix 5A to find out the exact wording to be used. Next, Hallie returns to her additional procedure code 000 in Appendix 2. She scrolls down to the Documents Produced, Certificates and Authorizations Additional References section. Hallie works through this list, but there are no document code requirements relevant to her declaration. If Hallie had multiple additional procedure codes, she would need to repeat this process for all codes. Hallie returns to the CDS declaration instructions for imports. She previously identified codes C505 and 506 from Appendix 1. However, these are not necessarily the only codes that she will need to use. Hallie must now return to Appendix 5 to check if there are any other specific document and reference codes required. She selects the hyperlink and is brought to Appendix 5. As she scrolls down, Hallie will see a list of appendices denoting documents and other reference codes split by union and national codes. Union document codes begin with a letter and national document codes begin with a number. Hallie will need to look at both the Union and National Codes documents. She starts by looking at the Union Codes document and selects the hyperlink. This will bring Hallie to Appendix 5A guidance page. If she scrolls down, she will see the Appendix 5A document. Hallie selects the link and downloads the Excel file. It's important to note that changes to the document codes in the Excel file are made regularly. Therefore, if Hallie downloads the Excel file, she needs to ensure she is using the most up-to-date version. Hallie is able to read more about the description and usage of each code and the details to be entered on the declaration. Hallie needs to work through the whole document and find if any codes are relevant to her. As she scrolls down, Hallie will see codes C505 and 506, which she previously identified. She must use these codes as they are relevant to her declaration and were identified in Appendix 1. However, she must still work through the rest of the document to see if any other codes are applicable. Hallie will need to repeat this process for the national document codes. After working her way through the document, she sees there are no relevant national document codes, but this won't always be the case. Hallie has correctly identified the specific document and reference codes C505 and 506 for her children's T-shirts by using Appendix 5 and re-reviewing the UK Integrated Online Tariff and Appendices 1 and 2 under the specific document and reference code sections. Watch the next webinar, which will review the completion guidance for completing her Customs Declaration Service declaration.